Earth debate live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and X. Now, we are joined by a whole bunch of people in the Discord server, and absolutely nobody in G+. So, welcome, Discord.
Hello and good morning.
Hey. Good morning, Nathan.
Morning. Suppose we should do a bit of housekeeping all the same, even though we don't actually have a G+ panel to answer any of the questions, so I'm relying on you guys in Discord. So, any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge? That's a horizon, formerly known as Earth curvature.
I don't believe so.
Sound too sure?
Well, I'm pretty sure they haven't come up with any evidence. No, sir.
Right, any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nothing that I know of.
Where is everybody? I appreciate that I had some technical issues, but I'm sure I shared the link like at least half an hour ago. Did I just not share the link while I was having an issue with my OBS? In case anybody's wondering,
right?
Not earlier.
We've started
Not
10
half an
minutes
hour
late.
ago.
So in case anybody in the audience is wondering why we started 10 minutes late, it's because for whatever reason, OBS has decided randomly to not allow my intro to restart itself once it's done, which is a pain because once I load OBS, the first thing it does is put the scene up that I last had on, which is typically the intro or outro. And so I go to start the show, and I press the button on my Stream Deck to start the outro after I've done my spiel, and it won't stop. It just keeps playing in a loop. So I turn off loop and click all the different various options, and I just can't seem to get the intro to work correctly. So eventually I found an old scene with an old intro and changed the file name to the new intro on an old scene, and it seems to resolve the problem. It took me an hour to figure it out with me screaming and swearing at the computer. But obviously in that process I've forgotten to share my G+ links, and now I've got no panel. So that's not very good. Anyway, about scientific evidence of gravity.
Well, wait, did you put out the link now?
Yeah, I've put the link in. Oh no, I've sent it to Brian. That's probably why. I've got people in the chat saying, no link, no link. Oh, that's probably why. I've sent it to the last person I've spoken to. I'm all over the place this morning. Like I say, I've had a technical issue with OBS.
Bad, and a few people were here and they left right after 9, so I guess they figured you weren't coming.
Fair enough. Has anybody got anything they wanted to cover today? No, I'm tempted to disappear to the Earth Awakening server, see what they're up to. Get in. Last time I tried to join, I was banned. Should we have a look, see if we can try?
Wait, you were banned from Earth Awakening?
Couldn't get in, yeah, somebody had banned me. Anyway, I'll see what's going on in Earth Awakenings.
If you don't really understand perspective.
So,
well, you have to understand perspectives.
Well, define perspective. I mean, for me, it's just things get smaller with distance. You know, that's the law of perspective, is the way we would draw something. And then you have someone standing in one position and see something from their perspective versus someone from another spot seeing it from theirs. So what do you mean by perspective?
Not the art form.
not like when you're drawing something, more like when you're looking out. So your perspective includes things like peripheral vision, right? You have peripheral vision. That's not, you don't, what do you use that in drawing? So like you're going to have to apply more things to this idea of perspective. And if you're going to box your mind into a place that it's only dealing with artwork, I can understand why you've been confused for the past 10, 12 years.
So real
Yeah,
quick,
so in my presentation,
but hold on. I just want, before it gets lost, because people keep typing. So I posted a lot of the references, and like if you just look, bro, like just read it, right? First of all, it says in the
yeah, you
conclusion of the
posted this paper, right?
yeah, it's not just that paper though. There's more, right? But in the conclusion of that paper says, we have seen that our visual space is not purely Euclidean as we believed prior to the Early experiments. There's a difference between our visual perception and the physical world. We explored the works of mathematicians who have investigated these differences in terms of different types of geometries. The applications that come from the Alley experiments show that hyperbolic geometry is the best fit to model our binocular visual space. Even though hyperbolic geometry was initially controversial, it is becoming a standard piece of modern mathematics. And if you go deeper into it, most studies on visual perception assume a limited region in visual space to be Euclidean. In a series of Alley experiments in which extensive configurations of stimulus points in a frameless space were dealt with, it was found that a horizontal or slanted plane extended from the subject is best described by hyperbolic geometry, whereas a frontal parallel plane in front of the subject is best described by Euclidean geometry. Theoretical problems around these findings and two properties of visual space were discussed. And it's really phenomenal, dude, because I mean, this is an art. Like basically, what we see in the horizon is all perception. All it's not an actual geometric position. So when you look at a star, when you look at the sun, when you look at the moon, in your model, you've mapped out the Earth based off of that curvature. But the Earth isn't curving. Your vision is curving. And the greater the distance, the more of the hyperbolic function. And it fits the golden ratio. Like everything in our reality fits the golden ratio. Why would it be so far-fetched that our visual space and our perception, our perspective also fits the golden ratio, which they literally call in modern theoretical physics, where they're dealing with space-time, they're using, it's known as the golden function. I'm not joking, bro.
Sure.
I'm not making this shit up.
That's all fine. But again, I mean, a lot of this tends to deal with binocular vision, which when we're talking about these relationships, and I would disagree with, I think, both of those definitions of perspective. We're talking about how things relate to a single observer, which you could basically shortcut as a single eye, or even just like a camera, right? Like even just on a flat sensor. So I don't know that these things do as much to curve these relationships as seems to be suggested. I think it's just, it gets a little more complex at the edges, so to speak. It's certainly not something that compounds over distance if you're looking straight forward. But anyway, these are all things I do intend to touch on in the presentation. This is kind of why I asked about it.
Yeah, so look over all the references that I posted in that. That's plenty of material right there.
Yeah,
Chew off.
absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
It gets even crazier though. Hold on, because Gio sent me this, bro. This is the cherry on top. But before I go, so it says here in the golden ratio, or the golden hyperbolic models of the universe, it talks about these models are based on the golden section. In this article, the authors discuss the hyperbolic Fibonacci and Lucas functions and the surface of the golden shofar, which are most important of these models. But it gets trippy and honestly, a lot of this stuff, bro, is over my head, right? Because I can't make sense of what they're talking about regarding space-time and all this other shit. But it's when you got to watch this video, dude. It says Qualia Research Institute, the hyperbolic geometry of DMT experiences at Harvard Science and Psychology. Like, this is literally like the tip of the spear, dude.
So just while I'm here, because I got to go in a minute, to answer Root's greater question, there's something to be said also that what the eye perceives could very much be distorted, but the brain does a lot of legwork to correct for those distortions. So we might not see any straight lines at all, but when we look out and see straight lines, it's because our brain has sort of understood what it's looking at and corrected for any distortions between sort of the external world and the retina. That's a huge oversimplification, but something to bear in mind.
Like, even the rate of refraction that we have to consider with declination and right ascension, like from 0 to 15 degrees and 75 to 90, it's logarithmic, dude. And it matches the golden ratio, dude. Coincidentally, it's another astronomical coincidence, like everything else that happens.
Sure, but that would still be more in the camp of refraction than perspective.
Yeah. Correct. But isn't it odd, though? Like, that's
interesting.
But yeah, moral of the story is, though, it's all due to perspective and perception, not the ground curving. The ground isn't hyperbolic. That's basically the whole point, that you guys modeled the Earth off of visual space, curved visual space.
Yeah, no, I understand the position.
You know, Shane's been talking about this for years, right?
Yeah, a lot of what Shane has put out there is largely why I'm doing the presentation.
Earth curve just hijacked perspective.
That's the claim.
The old magic trick. Look over here.
No, they took a flat plane of reference and then utilized your eye parallel with the surface level in the mathematics. So you need surface level to be flat, and you need eye level to be parallel with it, and the height measurement comes from sea level. So there's 3 flat Earth prerequisites in Earth curve maths before you do anything. You need Earth to be flat.
While you're here, I did have a question for you quickly. Since last we spoke, I was wondering if you had any new revelations or clarifications, understandings as to what a measurement is.
What, like the height of eye in Earth curve math measurement?
Any measurement.
Okay, so height of eye parallel with surface level in Earth curve maths.
Okay, and that is measuring what exactly?
The height of eye parallel with surface level.
So
You understand that, right?
Well, I understand if you're saying it's a height, that's a measurement of height. Is the parallelness a separate measurement?
It's part of the maths. I've said it 3 times. In Earth curve maths,
Right. So
you've got surface level and you've got eye level, and they're parallel with one another. Yeah?
right. So my understanding is that you can only measure one quality at a time. So you measure length or weight or temperature, for example, but one measurement doesn't measure anything except the thing you're specifically measuring.
Like height of eye. Or your Earth
Which would be
curve.
a distance measurement from the ground to the eye.
Right. Off surface level.
I'm not sure what you mean by surface level.
It's in the Earth curve maths, labelled, quote, surface level in Earth curve maths. Your Earth curve maths, the ones that need a surface level for the height of the eye to be measured off.
Wouldn't you just need the spirit level?
By that?
I mean, all you would need is a plumb bob, and perpendicular to that plumb bob, you have a horizontal, or you can use a bubble level or a spirit level, and you have the black baseline you need, regardless of the shape of the Earth.
Well, it sounds like, and Nathan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like what he's suggesting is that you require a flat Earth to make a measurement, but not that you're measuring the flat Earth.
Your Earth curve maths has got it labelled as surface level. I've said that 6 times. You haven't acknowledged it once.
So how? Yeah.
Now I'm
So
talking to someone else at the Manufactotum.
Yeah.
Seems
So
someone
how-
else wants to talk to me,
Yeah, so-
Manufactotum. My 6 attempts to get you to acknowledge the surface level and eye level parallel with it measurement that will be inputted into Earth curve maths. 7 times.
Yeah, all you need is a bubble level like that.
think I was talking to
Stefan,
him.
dude,
I was talking to
Stefan, listen,
Manufactotum.
bro, he just asked Manufactotum a question, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, can we just have a flow and not, don't let things go crazy.
That's all right. I could repeat it an 8th time for Manufactotum if you want. I don't mind.
No, I got it. I got it. I got it the first time. My question, though, because that doesn't really address my question. Like, I understand that you're saying eye level and surface level are parallel.
Welcome to Flat Earth. Welcome to Flat Earth. That's right. Eye level and parallel surface level requires Earth be a flat plane to make that measurement of height of eye. So when we measure height of eye for Earth curve maths, we are measuring a flat Earth. It's required for your maths.
Here's the problem with what you just said, though. We're not measuring the Earth to be flat. We're assuming it's flat to make a measurement.
So for you to measure Earth curve, you must assume Earth is flat. Yeah, welcome to Flat Earth that you'll be measuring for your Earth curve. You'll assume that you're measuring Earth flat, will you? Yeah, we know. You are measuring height of eye, though, off surface level. It's in your maths. It is a measurement, and it is off surface level that you'll be measuring for your flat plane that you need for your Earth curve. Yeah, we know. Welcome to Flat Earth.
So you recognize then that the statement, we assume the Earth to be flat to make the measurement, is not the same as we measure the Earth to be flat.
So you're measuring from surface level, though, and parallel eye level is fundamental to the calculations that you'll make after you take the measurement. Are you suggesting that when you use Earth curve maths, you're not measuring Earth for Earth curve? It's not a measurement of Earth, then, when you get your height of eye off the surface level. That's not a measurement of Earth, but it's your height above the Earth.
That's correct.
Of course it's to do with Earth. You're measuring Earth and your height off it.
No, you're measuring from the Earth.
Yeah, which is
You're
flat.
not measuring the Earth.
From a flat Earth, yeah, for height of eye above surface level.
Presumably.
Yeah, you're measuring from a flat Earth. That's correct. You will need a flat Earth to measure from for your inference and calculations. Is it just me, or am I making this summary with him yammering through the top of me? I'll try again.
No, well, I mean,
It's a different guy yammering through music. I see.
From a
different guy yammering through my conclusion. It only took 8 attempts, but this guy's going to continue to talk. It's left lane, right?
What you're doing,
left lane talking
Nathan,
through my
you're
conclusion.
The one making it
I see.
ridiculous.
Left lane's decided that it's his priority at the end of my conclusion after 8 attempts of talking to this guy and getting to conclude Earth's measured flat. It's left lane's conclusion that needs to come over the top of mine. I see.
All I'm saying is that we can say that the Earth is assumed to be flat to take a measurement, but we can't then say that we've measured.
I'll just say that then. we will be assuming Earth is flat for your Earth curve measurement then. Yes, we will say that because it's a fact.
Thank you.
That's a presupposition.
So you're saying that the Earth curve maths presupposes Earth be flat to make a measurement. I see. So that just means it's invalid then. Does that mean that the Earth curve maths is invalid because it's based on presupposition? Okay, I'll agree. No worries.
No, just
All it
make
means
the
is that
measurement.
statement-
Don't presuppose anything.
Not my measurements, Earth curve measurements. They're not mine. The measurements come off surface level, though. They're height off surface level. Parallel, eye level, with it.
Presumably.
Earth must be flat for that to function. Calculate.
Is that really the globe head? Is that really the globe argument that we can? It's okay to assume it's flat to measure curve. Okay.
Okay,
That's
we
what
will.
My argument is simply a statement.
Okay, you can, not me,
argument-
you can assume Earth is flat for you to calculate Earth curve. No worries, you can do that. No problem. You do that.
So my argument was simply that the statement "the Earth is measured to be flat" is false.
Really? So how are you going to get height of eye of surface level then? If you're not measuring Earth as a flat surface level to get height of eye, you're just saying that the Earth curve maths are bunk and redundant then because the measurement's not to be trusted, right?
A height measurement doesn't require any of the two things you're measuring the height.
Yeah, it does.
from
Yeah, it does.
to be any
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It requires surface level.
The
Cat
height
got your
of
tongue?
eye does not.
Cat got your tongue. A minute ago, you were telling me how you'd accept it as a presupposition for your calculation, and now you're telling me what, it doesn't count? Yeah, it does. It's in your maths. It's surface level.
I'm saying I accept it as a presupposition before I accept
Your
it as a
maths.
measurement.
Your maths. You're saying you accept Earth is presuppositionally flat for you to get height above it. Okay. Yeah. So you need a flat Earth then. Yeah, we know.
No, you don't need one. But you can.
Yeah, you
can
do.
presume it to
So,
be
yeah,
flat.
why do you keep denying it? Surface level.
and
It's
you get the same
in.
distance.
Why are you denying it? It's in your maths. Surface level. Yeah, you do need it. It's just when it's flat and we point that out and welcome you to flat Earth, suddenly you don't think you need it anymore. You can just call it a presupposition and that'll be all right. When you require Earth be a flat surface level for your height and parallel eye level with it, you require Earth be flat.
So if I go to the top of the crow's nest on a ship, for example, and I want to take a depression angle from horizontal, I have a bubble sextant and I want to take an angle down to the water. What am I measuring from?
Parallel eye level and surface level.
So I'm measuring from a parallel to the surface?
Yeah, we're not doing depression angles, though, are we?
We are in this example.
Are we? I thought we were just measuring height of eye above surface level. We haven't got that far
No,
yet.
we forgot to take our height of eye.
Oh, is that a measurement?
we're just taking
is that a measurement?
It is a measurement, yes.
Off surface level.
No, it's a measurement
You're
of
muttering.
an angular distance.
Just need a yes. Yes, that's correct, Nathan. Yeah, we will need a flat Earth for this. Yeah, I know. I said it 9 times.
You don't, though. You can
Oh, you don't?
one.
I see. So you don't need surface level labelled as such in your calculated Earth curve inference. You don't need surface. Why is it in the maths?
We don't need it to be flat.
Why is it in the maths was my question. I heard you say you don't need it. Now I'm saying why is it in your maths if you say you don't need it? You do. It's in your maths.
It's not flat in the maths.
Sorry, it's not a level. Why is it labelled as being, quote, level if it's not level? It is. You're just a bullshitting glurf. I'm sick of talking to you, Malefactotum. You're just bullshitting me and lying to me. Telling me you don't need things that are labelled in your maths as level. Telling me that they're not flat and then talking through me when I chastise you for being a bullshitter. You do need surface level. A minute ago, you accepted that presuppositionally Earth must be flat for you to take this height of eye with parallel eye level with surface level. Now you don't need it. Now it's not a measurement. Well, that's just irritating. Yeah, you do. You need a flat Earth. It's called surface
That's not
level.
what I said.
Yeah.
I didn't say we don't need it. I said we don't need it to be
You do need it.
flat. And
You
it's
do need
eye level,
You do need it.
not eye
Yeah, you do
horizontal.
need it. You need surface level. Flat Earth. You'll need that.
Should I say
Why
it a sixth
didn't
time?
you say you don't need it? Does that mean because you need it?
I didn't catch that. What?
Why else would you not? I said, why would you not say that you need it? Is that because you do need it?
I didn't say we don't need it. I didn't say we don't need it. I say we don't need it to be flat.
What's it? What don't you need? What's it? Surface level.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a level, having no part higher or lower than the other, surface of Earth for your height above Earth. The surface thereof. Now, you're going to take that flat Earth prerequisite level surface and then infer that it's curving. That's how your maths works, Earth curve maths. You measure Earth flat and then infer that the surface that's level that you require to be parallel with your eye is actually curving. It's a magic trick. It's hijacking perspective.
I'll say it a seventh time. Let's see if you can track it. Surface level is not surface horizontal, and we don't need it to be flat.
Level is flat. And it's surface level in your maths, and you don't have surface level on a globe. There is no surface level on a globe. What you're doing is taking flat Earth prerequisites and then calculating in sphericity by hijacking the visual effects of perspective. Furthermore, there is no perspective in Earth curve calculations. It doesn't even exist. Not
There
represent-
is, but that's beside the point.
You think there's perspective in Earth curve maths?
There's perspective in any observation.
In Earth curve maths, not in any observation. The maths don't match the observation because there's no perspective in Earth curve maths. Third time. You do need a flat Earth to measure, though.
What are you calculating exactly?
Come again?
Well, the claim is that we've hijacked perspective, but the claim seems not to pan out as far as the claim of having measured it flat. So if that's not the case, we can presuppose it flat, but it doesn't need to be flat to take those measurements.
It does. You need surface level. It's right there in your maths. I've said it 10 times. It's called surface level. It's not surface curve. It's the surface that you're getting your height
It's not
off.
surface
That's the
horizontal
surface. You
either.
don't need to talk through me while I reiterate my win for the 10th time. It's me winning. It's in your maths. You've denied it. You've said you don't need it. You've said it don't need to be flat. You said it isn't horizontal. It is. It's surface level. You don't have to like it. It's part of Earth being measured for you to infer that an object that does not change its value with distance, it will remain feet or meters based at all distances. Ergo, does not include perspective. A 10-foot wall in Earth curve maths is 10 foot if it's right in front of you or 60 million miles away. Still 10 foot. There's no angular reduction. It's hijacked perspective. There is no perspective in Earth curve maths. Furthermore, it needs a flat Earth.
How can it be hijacked perspective and not have perspective?
Because there isn't any in it. You've just said it representative of visual things, right? In reality, you said. Yeah, in reality, we have perspective. That's reality. Things get smaller into the distance. In Earth curve maths, they say the same size. They are ascribed an actual physical feet and inches that doesn't change, no matter how far away they are from the claim to be observer in the maths. So there's no perspective. There's no angular reduction in size in maths that's using a flat Earth.
Perspective does the same thing. Yeah, perspective does the same thing. Things appear smaller in the distance because they remain the same size.
No, they appear to get smaller in angular size, but that doesn't get accounted for in Earth curve maths because it's taken the effects of perspective and called them Earth curve when measuring Earth flat with surface level.
Yeah, you're just wrong about that.
Okay, show me angular size
size is
reduction
angular
in Earth curve maths
At
then.
distance,
So, sorry,
it's gonna-
is it an angular representation for the target or is it given in feet and meters?
It's an angular representation.
That's a lie. That's incorrect. There is no angular representation. The target is given in meters or feet. It's not given in angular size. That's incorrect.
Are you talking about angles of elevation to start?
No, I'm talking about the target. I've said it 3 times. You're just deaf and stupid and want to change what I've actually said. The target in Earth curve maths does not change in size at any distance. It doesn't reduce in angle value because it's reducing in physical size as per perspective based on your perception. It
Please try to
looks
refrain
like it's
from the
getting
insults,
smaller
Nathan.
into the distance, but it doesn't in Earth curve maths. It stays the same number at all distances. There is no perspective. Fourth time.
Any target at distance is going to be subject to the angular diminishment due to perspective.
Yeah, that's correct. In reality, yes. In reality. In Earth curve maths, it stays the same size. It's fifth time.
Can you show me this?
Yeah, it's in
I
Earth
don't know
curve
what you're
maths.
talking about. Of
Yeah,
course
you put in a value for the height of the item, the target value. Its value is in feet and meters. I've said it 6 times.
Why don't you go pull up an Earth curve calculator, buddy?
I don't need to.
Yeah,
I don't need to. I know his rhetoric better than he does. I know the flat Earth that he requires in his rhetoric, and I know that it doesn't include perspective because the target value won't change with distance. If you've got a cow and it's right next to you, it's pretty big in your field of view. If it's a mile away, it's tiny. But in terms of Earth curve maths, that cow will be represented as 4 feet at all distances. So there's no perspective in Earth curve maths. 7th time.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about 2 different ways of measuring something. The height of the object in perspective will still be the same. The angular size that it takes up in your vision will be smaller, but the same is true with looking at a distance through like Earth curve measurements.
No, there is no perspective in Earth curve. There's no angular size reduction. I've said it 8 times. You're just hand-waving me.
You're looking at it from.
Just hand-waving. I'm not looking at anything wrong. I'm looking at maths that doesn't have angular size reduction in them. 9 times. There's no angular size reduction in Earth curve maths. There is a flat Earth, though.
The distance you're looking at it, of course it does.
Left lane thinks it's
you're right-botting lefty.
Yeah, like badly.
Meanwhile, to conclude, you will need a flat Earth, that's surface level, to assert that you've got calculable Earth curve. And furthermore, the Earth curve that's calculated, debunked in 2020 by the Black Swan. If Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959, then every distance to horizon measurement could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Off surface level, as per the Earth curve maths, that has no discernible decrease in angular size at distance. There is no perspective. It just uses a flat Earth surface level and parallel eye level to assert that there's a point below surface level called Earth curve when you ignore perspective.
Earth curve doesn't ignore perspective.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It shows you the side of your own head. You can't get that view. You never see the side of your own head.
No one says you see the side of your head.
Yeah, Earth curve maths does. Yeah, Earth curve maths does. When you say nobody says it, I'm Nathan Oakley. I say Earth curve maths shows you the side of your own head. We call it Muppet vision. Your response, nobody says that. My name's Nathan Oakley. I'm the one talking to you, Manufact Totem. I say Earth curve maths says it because it does. It shows you, second time, the side of your own head, and you never, ever get that view. It gives you that view, called orthographic, because it has no perspective. The value on the right-hand side for a tower, 100 foot tall, will be the same regardless if it's off the page a million miles away or right in front of the observer. There is no perspective. 10th time.
Orthogonal view is exactly what gives you perspective. If you put 2 objects distant to each other, the angle subtended by those 2 objects, the top and bottom of the distant object and the observer, is exactly the angular view that diminishes with distance.
That's fascinating.
Exactly what perspective
That's
is
just not included. That's fascinating. It's just not in Earth curve maths. Fascinating. It's just not in Earth curve maths. 11 times.
It's exactly in the orthogonal projection that you're talking about.
No, it's not in Earth curve maths. You saying with a hand wave that it is 11 times in rebuttal will not change that the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve maths has no account for angular size reduction at distance. It's an orthographic view. It can't account for perspective. It's not within the realms of possibility for an orthographic mathematics that uses surface level, a flat Earth, for heights, and eye level parallel with it for the calculated sphere Earth horizon debunked in 2020 by the Black Swan that's below surface level. That's a flat Earth that's measured in your maths that doesn't include perspective. 12 times.
if I make a triangle with a base of 2, and I make a taller triangle with the same base, is the angle at the top going to be smaller or larger?
Who cares? Earth curve maths doesn't have perspective in it. It's not representative of reality. It does take flat Earth surface level to make the calculation, though. I mean, it doesn't matter if I put it out to this guy that'll need a flat Earth 25 times. He'll start asking me about triangles. Doesn't matter that I point out there's no perspective to match reality. He'll just talk through me. Doesn't matter he's not addressing it and me repeating it is going to get chanted through. So what, the audience and you don't get to hear it because you're talking through it? You haven't addressed it in 13 times.
Yeah. May I ask a clarifying question? When you say globe math does not take into account perspective, how is that? In what situation? I mean, yes, an orthographic view is very conforms to perspective.
But it doesn't. It doesn't have any
don't
perspective
understand
in
what
it.
you mean.
Perspective is angular size reduction based on distance. You don't have any...
Yes. Well,
maybe you could tell me. Did you want to tell me?
Are you claiming
is it a question or did you want to tell me? Are you telling me or asking me? Sorry, you're telling me or asking me?
I'm asking you.
Okay, once you've finished asking, would it be okay if I carry on answering without you carrying on talking through the middle of the answer? Is that okay by you?
No problem. Go ahead. I'll mute.
Thank you. On screen for my live audience right now. On the left-hand side of the page is the observer, denoted with the word I. On the right-hand side of the mathematical graphical representation of Earth curve maths, we have a value labelled hidden. Now, those two values, inputted in, I've said this 10 times, feet or meters, do not change with distance. That is to say, if this value for a tower in this position is 100 foot, it's 100 foot here, it's 100 foot here, and it's 100 foot if it's a million miles off the page. It doesn't change its value based on angle and the limitation the distance would give you. It doesn't include that. The value stays the same. 100 foot at 1 metre, 100 foot at a million metres. Sorry to convolute the two different formats.
But the angle does change, and that's perspective.
Yes, the angle does in reality. It just doesn't in Earth curve maths 13 times.
Sure it does. Yes, it does. If it's distant, it's still 100 meters at distance. It would have to be getting bigger for that angle not to change. So, of course, it changes. That's perspective.
Yeah, in reality, you've made this attempt 4 times, Manufactotum. Yes, in reality, if I hold a toy cow in front of me, is it just me or is it me responding with him chanting through me on the 14th attempt for him to not hand wave this? That was 1 sentence before Manufactotum started talking through me. Don't use your mute button. It doesn't matter how many. I don't mind doing it 25 times. It's never going to change. It's on screen now and will remain so for the duration of this discussion. Every time you tell me there's an angle. No, there's no angle. There's a straight line. One line between observer and target. Not 2 to represent an angle. You liar. Don't lie. Either you're ignorant or lying. So if you're ignorant, I think it's the end of your time talking to us, because you don't know what you're talking about. You've just said that in Earth curve maths, there's an angular representation. No, there isn't. That's 2 lines to the target that would give us an angle. Is it just me or is his mic open and he's now... Is it Stefan? Stefan, you just said you'd put yourself on mute, my friend. Thanks, yeah. I haven't finished talking. There's 1 line, not 2. You're not going to get an angle out of that. 1 line. As I've said 14 times, with a lying glurf scumbag, or ignorant, we don't know, tells me that, no, we've definitely got angular representation
don't
in
be
Earth
calling
curve
people
maths.
scumbags,
Definitely not.
Nathan.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
I'm making my conclusion.
Nathan once, so that's your second one.
What? Come again?
So, Nathan, may I ask, you know...
I was just interrupted during my conclusion. What's going on? He's just said there's an angle in Earth curve maths, Stefan. No, there isn't.
Yes, you do. You are very long-winded. So I was just going to ask you, when you say that perspective isn't taken into account on the global model...
I just answered you, Stefan. Were you not listening?
No, hang on a minute. That is wrong. I mean, perspective works even if the Earth is spherical, as an object by distance.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, in reality, Stefan, there's perspective. I got that.
Yeah, hang on a minute. So how then, perspective and the elevation changes to stars as you move along the surface of the Earth.
We're talking about Earth curve maths.
Could you please, yes, could you
There's no stars in
explain
Earth
to
curve
me
maths. There's no stars in this Earth curve maths. What are you talking about?
how that conforms to perspective?
Sorry, we're talking about Earth curve maths. There's no stars in this math. What are you talking about?
Oh, that is math, yes. There is math in that.
There's no stars. There's no stars in Earth curve maths. Are you deaf, Stefan?
If we make an elevation angle to...
Yeah, I heard you. I heard you. I heard. I wasn't deaf. I've responded. Are you just going to keep chanting it? I heard you.
Would the angle by distance change linearly or non-linearly?
Show me the angle in Earth curve maths, please, Stefan. Are you ever going to shut up? I've heard you. I heard you, Stefan. He won't shut up. He just keeps going. I heard you the first time, Stefan. Are you going to shut up ever?
So you explain that to me, okay?
Yeah, I could if you ever shut up. There's no angle in Earth curve maths.
Yeah, take your own advice, Nathan.
Yeah, it goes both ways, Nathan.
Sorry, there's no angle in Earth curve maths. There's one line, not two, to give me an angle, as I'm being asked about angles to stars in Earth curve maths. Now, I'd said to Stefan, there's no stars in Earth curve maths to comport with your non sequitur, complete non sequitur, to the discussion I was having, until now, it seems, about Earth curve maths and its lack of perspective. Now I'm being asked about stars that don't appear in Earth curve maths by Stefan. So I'll say it again. There's no stars in this. There's no elevation angle measurements being made. There's a single line that doesn't include perspective. It won't give me an angle to the target. It's a single line. That answers your question, Stefan. There's no perspective in Earth curve maths, Stefan. There's no stars in it either. Your question was non sequitur.
Yeah, well, what you do is you establish a horizontal by like a spirit level, a bubble level, perpendicular line.
Yeah, welcome to flat Earth.
And as that moves away, you have two lines. You have the horizontal, which is your baseline, and you have the top of the object. And as it moves away, yes, it gets smaller. The problem is it does not get smaller as it should be on a flat Earth over long enough distances.
What are you babbling about? I haven't made any claims. I've used Earth curve maths and pointed out there's no perspective in it because there's a single line between target and observer. You're saying, well, it wouldn't work on a flat... Is it just me or is he talking through me again? I haven't finished my sentence and Stefan's yammering through me. What a shock. I'm getting talked through by Stefan.
Hold on 1 second. Moderation. Stefan, when you yield the mic to Nathan, you have to wait till he finishes talking. And Nathan, I hope that you would do the same as well. And I just because it gets garbled and audio chaos, that's all.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, there's no perspective in Earth curve maths. There's a single line between target and observer. I keep getting told by glurfs that there is perspective in it. No, there isn't. It doesn't seem to matter that I've said it 16 times.
I would like to point out that Earth curve calculation is about drop over distance. We could measure perspective. I don't think there's what's necessary about perspective in measuring drop over distance.
But perspective is part of reality. Yeah? The drop that you're describing is with respect to surface level that will be required, though. So we need a flat Earth, and there's no perspective. That's my point. Is it ever going to get 17 times? Do I ever get a glurf acknowledgement of that? Or do we just get lots of hand-wave denials and lies? Or ignorance?
We've all heard the claim. The problem is perspective isn't explicitly shown here by an angle subtended from the eye to that object, but it is there. It's not.
No, it isn't. So 17 times. No, it is not.
It's there.
No, it is. Show me the second line to give you angular representation in Earth curve maths. Show it me.
a horizontal baseline. Like
again,
I'm talking to Manufactotum,
drawn,
Stefan.
but it's
He's just
there.
made an assertion. Now I'm going to hold him to his claim. Show me the second line to give you perspective if it is, quote, there, according to you. It isn't 17 times. Got to lie to
repeat my
Glurf.
claim.
You got to lie.
Not
You're lying.
explicitly drawn with two lines, but it's there.
There is not two lines. You're a lying Glurf. There's only one. You can't get
I didn't say
perspective.
there were two lines.
Is he just talking through him? Is it me? I'm responding to his Glurf lie about there being two lines to the target because we've got to have perspective because perspective's a thing. It's just not a thing in Earth curve maths. It isn't there 18 times.
I'll say it a third time before you call me a liar.
You're a
not
liar. There's no
explicitly
perspective.
drawn with two lines, but it's there. I never said there were two lines. I did not lie.
No, but you said perspective's there. No, it isn't. You are a liar. To have perspective, that's angular representation. You'd need to form an angle, and there isn't one between observer and target. 18 times I've pointed out that a single line isn't going to give you an angular representation to have it decrease with distance. That's perspective. It is not there. What is in Earth curve maths is surface level. You'll need to measure your height above it to get parallel eye level. Now, while I'm proving Earth must be flat for the surface level requirement, and that this maths definitely doesn't have perspective, what we're going to get a 19th time that, oh yeah, it's definitely there. No, it isn't. There's no perspective in Earth curve maths. It's hijacking it.
The angle is not drawn, but the angle is there. You have 3 points, the eye, the bottom, and the top of that other object. Those 3 points create an angle. It's not drawn on the paper, but it's there.
No, it's not there.
So
There's
it's not
one
there,
line
but it's
between.
there?
No, there's not. It's on screen for my audience, so they all know you're a liar. There's a single line between target and observer. You won't get an angle. You won't get an angular representation out of an orthographic view. It's orthographic. It doesn't include perspective. You know what it'd be called if it did? It'd be called a perspective view. It isn't. And this lying Glurf is going to continually assert that, oh, there must be perspective there because we have perspective. Yeah, it just isn't in Earth curve maths. What is in Earth curve maths, even though I've pointed it out 19 times, and it's never getting acknowledged, just lots of Glurf lies coming back, is that we do need surface level. That's absolutely required and labelled as such. That's needed. You're going to be measuring your height of eye above it.
I know the insults are for entertainment value, but if you could just refrain from them as much as possible. Thanks.
What insults?
He's ready to go, man.
Yeah, but we're live streaming as well. Here.
What insults? Nobody insulted anybody, did they?
Oh, no. Yeah,
It sounds like it's
three dots on
extremely sensitive, it seems.
Sorry, why are we talking about
it's
insults?
It's just the channel rules. It's just the server rules, that's all.
Yeah, but
and this is also
them?
a show.
Who's broken them? Who's insulting who?
Or just like glur flyers and stuff like that.
Glurf means globe earth believer. Glurf is a fact. That guy's a glurf. He's a glurf. That's a fact. It's not an insult, it's a fact. He's a liar. He's told me on multiple occasions. It's just me, or am I defending myself whilst getting talked through by this moderator who's decided that calling someone a glurf liar is an insult? It isn't. It's a fact.
Come on, Nathan. I mean, come on.
So why am I getting told off for insulting him? It's not an insult. It's not an insult. And now I've got left lane yammering while I'm trying to defend myself. It's not an insult, it's a fact. Oh, no, never going to get the opportunity to get the sentence out in full. Not allowed to defend myself, it seems. It wasn't an insult.
I've also put a...
What's going on, Terry? Terry, I'm addressing you, mate, and you're just yammering through me. It wasn't an insult, Terry.
I never said there was an insult.
You said stop the insults.
I never said there was an insult.
Well, somebody did.
So there's no perspective in Earth curve maths, and it does need surface level to be measured for eye, height, parallel with it. Parallel meaning that it must be a flat surface for the eye level to be parallel with it. Earth must be flat.
Assuming no atmospheric compression, right?
Sorry, say again?
Well, before we get on to that...
Sinking and looming effect.
Say again, Taylor.
Huh?
What'd you say?
I just wanted you to repeat yourself.
Oh, I was just talking about the atmospheric effects on the things that we observe, like the sinking or the looming effect.
Okay.
That we would have to control for.
And that's in your Earth curve maths when talking about perspective, is it?
No, I'm assuming you're basically accounting for it if you're doing measurements, right?
What measurements are we
And
doing?
like making
What measurements are we doing?
if you're trying to make like definitive claims off of optics, that would be something you'd have to account for.
Yeah, we're talking about Earth curve maths. So your measurements are
Yes.
what?
Well, I'm not claiming to find Earth curve with optics.
You just mentioned looming, though, didn't you?
Yes, and sinking.
Do you want to define what looming is?
It's basically a refractive effect.
Do you want to define what
basically it's refraction.
looming is?
Yeah, it's when basically something's like floating over or being stretched out due to perspective because of refraction.
Over what?
Over the surface of the Earth or whatever you're observing.
Surface level.
Assuming that that is the actual surface and not also an optical effect.
Sorry, it's described with respect to surface level.
With respect to whatever you're viewing, you can have sinking and looming effects on any whatever
I think
you're
she
observing.
means the horizon.
Well, that's assuming that's what you're observing, but you can have other effects, not just observing the horizon like that.
Okay, and what was your point?
That I'm just basically saying that, refraction is something you'd have to account for if you're making Earth curve claims or definitive claims based on optics.
Okay, but before we make any definitive claims, we're going to measure our height above surface level. So we'll need a flat Earth first.
Yeah, level's not curved.
Those are mirages. So if you want to qualify mirages as refraction, you're going to have to give us some evidence of that.
But we're not talking about anything observational whatsoever. We're talking about Earth curve mathematics and what they are.
How
The
are you
constituent parts
measuring
being
Earth
a surface level and height of eye measured off it, parallel with it. Flat Earth prerequisite.
How are you measuring Earth curve?
I'm not. There isn't any. We measure Earth flat with surface level 20 times.
Yep. So when people claim to measure Earth curve due to optics, they would have to account for, refraction, and I can't get any clear answers out of them on how much refraction there actually is or how much we measure, what's the maximum.
No. The first thing they do in Earth curve maths is give you their height off surface level, don't they?
Yep.
Yes, so welcome to flat Earth is the answer. So you'll need a surface level to give you height of eye above.
Yep.
Yeah. So at that point, they need a flat Earth to move forward in their claim. That's the end of the discussion. They'll need a flat Earth.
And if they're not using... Exactly. And if they're not assuming flat Earth, then they need to at least be using circular geometry because you can't... Because if you think you're measuring around a curve, then you'd have to use like circular geometry. So...
There is, when you say circular geometry, no, they're always going to be utilising a flat surface level for every claim they make ever.
Exactly. Exactly.
That whole thing about trying to measure the Earth curve optically, how can they do that if they themselves say that they can't do that because the Earth is too big? Right.
They have their ways,
Exactly,
apparently.
chocolate.
We get lies over and over again. I say there's no perspective. Oh yeah, it's definitely there. That's a lie from Manufactotum. There's an objection raised that I shouldn't call him a liar. Let's just make it absolutely abundantly clear. My name's Nathan Oakley. I'm calling manufacturer Totem a liar because he's repeatedly asserted there's perspective in Earth curve maths. There isn't. There is a surface level, flat Earth prerequisite.
How much,
there is
guys?
no perspective.
How much, guys?
No perspective in it. Don't know why I'm getting interrupted when I point that out. I'll just try and make the conclusion it's the second attempt. He is a liar. There is no perspective in Earth curve maths. It's on screen for my audience. There's a single line between target and observer.
How many times you gonna let that go on?
Left lane's now interrupting me for the third time.
Left lane, please stop. You're not a mod here.
Shut your mouth, left lane, you dick.
Yeah, how long are you going to
shut your mouth,
call
dick?
people fucking
Dick.
liars, though?
Dick. I'm talking, dick. That means shut your mouth.
like
Your
that
mod's
right there.
told you off. Is he just going to keep getting to Yammer through me? I've made 3 attempts
trying
to
to
make this.
do it.
3 attempts.
You're trying to invoke it, dude. You're trying to like poke the bear to cause it to happen.
You're allowing,
dude, you're gonna get muted.
him to
Stop,
break server
Lefty.
rules.
Yeah, calling a person a liar is classed as an insult.
He's a liar. He's lied about perspective being in Earth curve maths. That's a lie. Fact, it's on screen for my 120 live participating audience members that can see there is no angle.
Incorrect.
Why am I? It's fourth attempt. Fourth attempt. Fourth attempt.
Left lane, what do you mean perspective in Earth curve math?
Angular size reduction.
Well, hold on.
Based on distance.
Yeah, guys,
I haven't made my conclusion yet. I've made 5 attempts to make it.
Man.
Bit of moderation. Still haven't made my conclusion.
And then I want to defend myself.
Matter of fact, Totem, you're a liar.
Manufactum, this is your last warning, bro. Last
You're a
warning.
liar. Matter of fact, Totem, you lied. You said there was perspective. It's definitely there. End quote you. No, it is not. There is not 2 lines to form an angle in Earth curve maths. There's only one. You won't get an angle for angular size reduction at distance. The distance has a fixed value for the target at all distances. There is no perspective. 20th time.
Okay. If I draw 3 dots on a wall and I don't connect them, there is an angular relationship between those 3 dots. We can draw a triangle, and 10 of us can measure at either of those points and get the same angle, which, by the way, is what a measurement is. It's an assessment of an objective value, which means it's there. There's an angular relationship there. Just because they didn't draw in those lines for you like a 3-year-old doesn't mean it's not
That's
there.
an insult.
Doesn't mean it doesn't
That
exist.
is an insult.
There is an angle
That's an insult.
there.
There's an insult. He's just called me a 3-year-old by inference. Yeah?
No, he said the guy didn't draw it like a 3-year-old.
Yeah. He's talking to me, and I've got the diagram up on screen, and we know what the inference is. There's an insult. Backhanded.
Let it go and make.
Yeah, you have to work real hard for that one, Nathan.
You already know. You already know what the rebuttal is.
Okay, well, okay, no worries. It's backhanded insults around. Well, I'm not a complete retard. I understand, unlike retards that don't understand and might assert that there is angular representation in Earth curve maths, I'm not retarded. I can see there's only one line. Maybe other idiot liars that potentially could be retarded wouldn't see such a thing. I mean, I'm not insulting anybody when I say that I'm not retarded when I can see that only a liar would assert that there's 2 lines representing angular representations of diminishing angles with distances. That definitely doesn't appear in this diagram of Earth curve maths, and only a liar would say otherwise.
And if you have 3 points,
Well,
you can find an
maybe-
angle, right?
Correct.
There's only a single point in Earth curve maths. It's one line reaching one point. One being the starting point for the line, the other being the target at the other end. There's not 3, there's 2.
Can you decide what part of your argument you're using here? Because you're using the diagram, right?
Yeah, I'm using surface level. I'm saying that in order to assert that there is Earth curvature, you must require a flat Earth surface to measure height of eye off. You require a flat Earth. Is it just me? I'll just try that again. Maybe it'll be immediate interruption before I've even started the repetition for the second time. Yeah, I'm saying that you require a flat Earth for Earth curve maths. It's right there in the diagram. It's called surface level. Parallel with eye level. It's required. Earth must be flat to assert you've got Earth curve.
That's a circular argument.
No, it's called surface level. It's labelled in the maths. It's on screen for 120 live participants to see. You can go and look at it for yourself in Earth curve maths if you choose. It's labelled surface level. It's not circular. It's a diagrammatical example with the word surface level written on it, not circular.
Right, the surface level on the diagram is not a flat line, though.
Sorry, surface level isn't flat. That sounds like a stupid glurf thing to say. Surface level is absolutely flat. That's what level would mean. Level is level. It's not bending, is what it's not doing. In fact, the mathematics requires it be flat because the eye level will be parallel with it.
Level, as according to surveyors, is not a flat line.
According to Earth curve maths, it is because eye level's parallel with it. Second time. Your non-responsive rebuttal didn't undo the fact that it must be flat, horizontal and level for a parallel eye level to be parallel with it. Third time. Cat, got your tongue? Yeah, it is flat. It's a flat Earth prerequisite. I'll just take the silence when you didn't respond to take my victory dance. There's no need to start talking while I take my victory dance, sir. I gave it you 3 times. You didn't overcome it. You said it wasn't flat, and surveyors. Yeah, we're talking about Earth curve maths, so aren't we? And the parallel eye level that must run parallel with surface level. 4th time.
How did you establish the parallel?
Welcome
I think the only perspective that they're taking into account is like just that it shrinks over distance. That's the perspective they're talking about. But you're talking about like a what is level, which a level would be flat, right? And so it's kind of like 2 different points being made here.
Who are you talking to?
I was just saying that the perspective they're saying that they're accounting for is basically that things shrink over distance.
Yeah, that's not in their maths. That doesn't happen in their maths. It's not accounted for. Things shrinking in an angular representation would require 2 lines to the target for an angle to be represented. There's only one. There is no perspective. That's the 21st time I've said that.
Right, so but if you have the bottom and the top of the object and you have an observer position, you have 3 points. So that means those 3 points allow you to find the angle at which that object shrinks to, right?
Yeah, that's not in Earth curve maths. That isn't there in Earth curve maths. You don't have 2 lines to form these 3 points. You've only got 1 line.
All right, I'll say it again, I guess. We'll do the repetition game. If you have the bottom and the top of an object,
you're going to yammer through me overcoming what you've said and then just keep talking because somehow you continuing to talk through your interruption of me is somehow you winning. What's going on? I was in the middle of replying to him. He just carried on and said that he's going to repeat himself and it's the repetition game. You're yammering through me. I was answering you and you said it's not the repetition game through the top of me. What's going on?
Well, it's his show. Let's just yield, and then you can respond, man. It's that simple.
Right. Then when do I respond if he can always interrupt me?
Yeah, I'll do what I like.
As soon as he's done, it's your turn, and I'll make sure of it. So, Nathan, please go ahead, repeat yourself, finish that up so he can respond.
No worries. 20-second repetition of the exact same thing. There is no angular representation in Earth curve maths. There's only a single line between target and observer. You can't form an angle to give an angular representation to suggest in any way, shape or form it has a perspective account. It doesn't. 20-second time.
Okay, so in the diagram that you're showing, there's an object in the distance. That object has a bottom and a top. That's 2 separate points for the object, and the observer is located off to the left in that diagram. That's 3 points. Using those 3 points, you can find the angle for the angular size of that object, and that is taking perspective into account.
Yeah, this calculation's not designed to find angles for objects. That's not what it's for.
We're talking about the diagram, right?
Yeah, it's Earth curve mathematics. That's not what this mathematics does. Your superimposition of something that this maths doesn't functionally do by saying, oh, well, it's got these 3 different points. There's the bottom of the target, the top of the target, and you looking at it. No, it's not trying to give you an angular representation of the target. It just gives you a value that you input for its actual size in feet or meters. And that actual size that you input into this maths does not change with distance. It is not a function of this maths. What you have just suggested is wrong.
But we're talking about the diagram, aren't we?
I heard you the first time, and I responded with the same thing I'll say now. It's Earth curve mathematics.
So then we don't care about the diagram anymore, just because it's convenient.
No, we care that you guys utilize Earth curve mathematics to assert we've got Earth curve, when in reality you're deriving Earth curve from a surface level measurement. You need a flat Earth for Earth curve.
The diagram is a representation of the mathematics. What you're talking about isn't a part of the mathematics. What you're talking about isn't a part of the mathematics. That's why it's not in the diagram. That's why Nathan said that you're superimposing your stance onto this diagram, which has nothing to do with the Earth curve mathematics. What's so hard? Okay, I'm done there.
Okay, the Earth curve mathematics doesn't have anything to do with the diagram anymore, I guess.
The diagram is Earth
That's
curve
not what I
mathematics.
said.
My God.
That's not what I said.
That's what I heard you say.
That's not what I said, was it, moderators?
Okay. What's your name, sir? Who's the guy I'm talking to?
So I just want to say that
is he talking to me or him?
diagram that y'all are, in the diagram y'all are posting, it actually shows like spherical geometry, but
Madam,
in
can you
the
not hear the conversation taking place? What's your name, sir?
Hold on, Taylor.
Who was the guy I was just talking to?
Doofus. You were talking to Doofus.
Okay.
Doofus and Elijah.
Doofus. Yeah, it's Earth curve maths. It needs surface level.
The mathematics that you're referring to is drop over distance, right?
Drop from what?
From a tangent, typically.
Sorry, tangent?
Yes.
So you think when measuring Earth, we take drop from tangents?
The formula itself, or as you guys like to use the shorthand version of it, 8 inches per mile squared, that's tangential drop. That's all that is.
There's nothing in that diagram labeled tangent. I'm sorry, you're wrong.
No, what he's calling tangent does have a label.
Because it's not in the diagram, it's not in the math either. Is that what we're going to go with?
There's me responding to you, Doofus. Sorry, what's it labelled in the diagram, your tangent that you inferred? Does it have a label?
Yeah, it's the thing that they called surface level for some reason.
Oh, so it's called
it's the tangent to the curved surface located at the...
Are you lying?
I guess I don't get to respond to your fucking question.
Is it just me, or is he now swearing at me?
Right?
Irritation.
We're not going to have a chance where I get to respond to your fucking question.
Glurf.
Right, because I can't respond to you.
You need to swear at me there, Glurf.
Guys,
did you need to lie about it being a tangent? Oh, Glurf. Was it going to be your lie?
Nathan,
about it being a tangent.
You're trying to moderate, right?
Excuse me, is the moderation team going to step in? He's just swore at me in defeat.
Yeah, I'm
and
trying
now I'll
to.
take my victory dance if you don't mind. Yeah?
Nathan,
no, it's
hold
not
on
called
a second.
tangent. Is it just me, or is the conclusion
All
getting
right.
rumpus by
You're
somebody?
on your own now. Good luck.
Thanks, Dicelo. So it's not labelled tangent then? It's labelled surface level then, sir Doofus.
Right. The entire point of the formula...
I just need a yes.
Mathematics itself.
I just need a yes. I just need a yes.
I guess I don't get to. I guess I don't get to respond again.
Well, you were lying.
Right. There's no way for me to respond.
You were lying,
to Nathan.
and now I'm calling you on it, liar.
Yeah.
It's not called tangent, is it?
Again. Let's
liar.
Try this. Let's try this one more time.
Liar. Tangent is not what it's labelled, is it? Tangent isn't what it's called.
He doesn't get to get
we just need to get this squared away, liar. Moderation team. Can I get some help, please? Moderation team.
I was trying to help, but he's not allowing me to, so I don't know.
I thought it was him interrupting Dicelo. Sorry.
Have a food fight, man.
Yeah, we can definitely have a mic fight because I'm pretty good at those.
Yeah.
What, when you lie?
You're a flame.
Yeah. All right. So Nathan, real quick, the point of the formula itself, because we're looking at the formula now. The reason why it's formulated in that specific manner,
you said tangent,
is because you're trying to figure out how much drop there is from a tangent line at surface.
You lied.
At surface level.
You lied.
Good.
You said that was tangent.
There's no way
you
to
lied.
respond to you. You don't allow it. You don't allow the conversation. You're not here for a conversation. Are you?
You lied to me.
Give Doofus enough time to say something.
We lied. And he's not addressing it. I put it to him, and then he just non sequitur into
this formula. Now he's talking to me. Now he's talking to me. How do you know what I'm responding to if you won't let the answer come out?
Because I'm highlighting his lie. So what's he going to do? Say that he can have a mic battle with me because I'm pointing out his lie? No, you lied.
Well, you mean it works here because this server doesn't allow you to mute everyone else in it.
They allow you to lie, though, don't they? About tangent. Does it say tangent?
Right. Can I get the whole answer out, or are you
yeah,
going
I
to
can
keep
point out that
interrupting
you're stuttering too while you stutter because you're a liar. It doesn't say tangent.
Can I get the whole answer out?
Can
How
you
do
lie
know
about
I'm
a
not
tangent?
answering the question if
Can you
you can't
lie
hear
about a
the answer?
tangent?
He only wanted the one thing from you, doofus. He didn't want the context of what you said. He heard what he wanted to hear, and that was all. So I don't know what to tell you, bud.
Yeah, it's his show. There's no way to actually answer the question if he's going to interrupt it every time.
But does it
Can I
say
ask a
tangent?
question?
He heard what?
Does it say tangent?
What?
Does it say tangent?
Yeah, there's no way for me to
Stuttery.
actually say the whole answer.
Sorry, does it say tangent?
No,
Well,
I'd like to hear it, though, but you're not going to get it.
I put a diagram up there. It says tangent.
You
Right.
put a diagram up there. Let's have a look at yours.
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah.
Let's have a look. Okay.
Yep, it's the same idea. It's the exact same mathematics
look.
involved.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the tangent?
Well, it's spelled
Right in the diagram.
T-A-N-G-E-N-T in the text.
Where'd you measure it on Earth?
Perpendicular to plumb.
Right, and at the surface level.
Oh, so you'll need surface level for that then. Go on, John.
Right, and your claim is that the surface is flat, so therefore it's flat.
It's level.
Well, you
It's
can
a
have the
circular
surface
argument.
level- You can have the surface level or the elevation
No,
above it.
no pun intended.
So is it me talking to three people now? I'm winning.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
in that-
I can
You
do
need surface
myself
level.
just fine.
You
In that diagram,
we can just have our own conversation. Just leave Nathan out of it.
Oh, I see.
In
So
that
at the point
diagram,
that I win,
so-
you decide that you'll exclude me from the conversation entirely.
Yeah, we can totally do that.
All right.
Trying
So
to
do we?
So
explain
let me get it. Hold on. Let's
moderation
just
here?
get it clear. So at the point that I'm winning in this neutral platform, you're going to exclude me from the conversation, correct?
You're not.
Well, you didn't want to have the moderation team help you out, so I mean, what the fuck are you going to do now?
Yeah, let me know when you're ready for moderation, Nathan.
Hey, guys, look, we're moving to the stage.
Wow.
You can have more
All right,
control
so-
of the show.
Yeah, I don't have the
Albert, were you
ability
going to
to do
throw us
that.
a rope?
Things biased as hell here.
Do you not?
Yeah,
Biased
nobody
in what
knows.
direction?
And y'all guys want to interrupt like that? Yeah, this is your show.
Let's try and keep it to like at least one person. Like if Omnivore now wants to go at it, I think it's been exhausted with Doofus here.
So I
can't get my answer out, that's exhausted.
No, because you don't know how to listen. He's running a show. What are you doing, dude?
Wonderful.
Well, he may be running a show, but if he doesn't believe in tangent lines, that's worth exploring.
That's an ad-hom. That's an ad-hom.
Yeah.
It's not an ad hoc.
That's not an ad hoc.
That's not.
Yeah, it was because while
ad
Nathan
hoc
was
is a
begging to
specific
finish
kind of
his point
fallacy.
and get it addressed, you guys decided to have a monkey show together, and now you're ad-homing him now in the face of not actually addressing his point.
Okay, Omni, stick to stick to the actual point. I mean, these guys are getting upset for some reason. I don't know
Not at
what's
all.
going on.
Just need an acknowledgement
How
that we
did
will
he
require
establish the
surface level
surface to be
and a
level?
parallel eye
So-
level with it. And before I'm getting to make that, it's the 23rd repetition of the same thing, let's be honest.
So I have a spirit level or whatever, and a plumb line or the internal mechanism of theodolite. That establishes a plumb line and a ray perpendicular to that plumb line. I know the elevation of my theodolite and the height of the theodolite, so I can use that to create a baseline straight line that I can measure an elevation angle from.
What's the height off?
If you don't,
A straight baseline. I love it. Flat
It's
Earth.
just me.
I
I'm
love it.
having a conversation with three people.
you're talking
No,
to
it's
me.
just you and Omnivore. Yeah, it's you and Omnivore. Go ahead, Nathan.
I thought I heard
What
some
was
other
the- what
voices
was the
over
height
there
measured
too. You're
off?
not by yourself.
Oh
are
no,
you?
it's the question's not going to get addressed. Omnivore's going to talk through the repetition of it. What was your height measured off?
I could use a height using a altimeter.
Yeah, I know what altimeter's going to give you your height. Yeah, off what?
Yeah, well, I give you your elevation. Yeah,
Elevation off what?
elevation above sea level.
Oh, so you'll need sea level then. Welcome to flat Earth.
No, sea level is curved. I can give
No,
you
it's
citations.
level.
You know that.
No, it's level.
Yeah, level is in this context. I'm sorry, is curved.
No, it isn't. It's level.
I don't know about that one, Omnivore. I think you guys are assuming. Why don't you just call it C curve?
Well,
why do you call it sea level?
Because that's what the surveyors call it. So it doesn't matter whether it's level or whether it's straight or level. It doesn't actually matter.
Well, it's part of the definition. It absolutely matters. It matters because we'll be measuring things like elevation angles with respect to surface level. So it absolutely matters.
Okay, well,
That's why it's in the title. Is it just me, or is he talking through me again when I take a dump on his garbage that he says doesn't matter, even though it's part of the actual defined word? Sea level. Oh, the level bit don't matter. Well, why would they put it in the word?
It's not level, though, is it?
Is it just me? Why is it that when I win, about 3 people start mumbling through the top of me? What's going on?
I think that's somebody on your side.
No, that's Elder Bear, dude.
No.
You need Elder
Elder
Bear.
Bear, mute his ass. This is too much. He's
Of
been doing
course.
this too much.
He's triggered too.
The sea's not level. That's all.
Was I talking to Elder Bear, or are you going to shut him up? You going to put your action where your speak begins, or what?
Yeah, he's muted. He's muted. Go ahead.
I just want to ask the Globers if whenever they get their theodolite readings, are y'all using spherical geometry or Euclidean geometry to do the calculations?
They need a flat Earth for a theodolite.
Why wouldn't you use spherical geometry?
Because you don't need to in order to take an elevation angle. So I just posted the definition, a screenshot. It's from Department of Commerce, U.S. Coast and Geodetic Surveying, Appendix 7. So you can look at that. There's a little highlighted there's a highlighted area around level surface. You can look at that.
Just read
Have you tried to use spherical geometry? I don't understand the logic.
Is Taylor taken over my role? Taylor, I'm good, thanks. Yeah? Thanks. I don't need help.
Well,
thanks, Taylor.
I don't know.
Omni, just tell me what it's referring to. Feel free to read it out if you choose.
A level surface is accurately defined as a curved surface at which each point is perpendicular to the direction of gravity at that point. A plumb line gives the direction of gravity at any place. The surface of still water is a truly level surface. A horizontal line or a horizontal plane at any point is tangent to a level surface at that point. This is from a surveying manual.
That's complete doublespeak. Say again, John.
Perpendicular can't curve.
Yeah, perpendicular can't curve.
Doesn't have to curve. Perpendicular is a tangent line, as I read. Do I need to read it again?
Yeah, go on.
Tangent lines level.
The surface of still water is a truly level surface. A horizontal line or a horizontal plane, those are your trigger words, at any point is tangent to a level surface at that point. That's the definition we're talking about here.
That makes no sense. A single point isn't a plane, it's a single point.
So it's at that point. So a plane is a collection of points.
I got you. I'll just say it again because it seems like you're hand waving what I've just said. You can't describe a plane or a line with one point. Now, if you need surface, I haven't finished.
Oh, okay.
If you're just going to describe surface level, you can't have it described globally with a single point because that's only one point on your globe surface. Now, what we require... I haven't finished. Did you just want to declare victory because you've talked through the response? Maybe you've won because you've yammered.
That's what you did. That's what you did.
I'm still talking. Maybe we can have an endless discussion about the moderation now rather than my win.
Omnivore, control yourself, please.
Point on a globe isn't the surface. It's a single point. What we require is a surface level. That's not one point. It's not tangential. That's one point. Now, we're talking about the surface. There's lots of points, not one.
So, I posted, I don't know if you're done. I posted a picture that, this is basic geometry, and it shows a plane that is tangent to a sphere. Intersection between a tangent plane and a sphere is the name of the picture. So you can look at that in the chat and you understand that in this case, we're talking about a very big sphere. And at any point, you can take a tangent plane to it. That's why
we're not measuring to a sphere. We're measuring from the surface.
Yes.
Yeah. We're not measuring to a tangent point. We're measuring from the surface level.
So my plumb line is at that tangent point. You have to imagine that the plumb line is at that tangent point. Now, I want to be real clear here. This is what the definition that I posted from a surveying manual, and they all agree. All of the surveying manuals agree. That is what it's talking about. All right. So surface level is the curved still water. And the point that I'm choosing is a tangent point that is the intersection of a horizontal plane and that point, which is what you see in the picture. If you don't think that this is how geometry works, you're not right.
So we're measuring surface level. And what you're suggesting is that there's a dangling globe Earth below the surface level that's being measured. And that surface level is no longer the globe surface, it's a plane that we're measuring.
Correct.
Yeah, we're measuring a flat Earth, a plane. However, you can automatically assume and talk through my response every single time I open my mouth. Maybe this will be your victory because nobody's heard what I've said because you've talked through it every time I've spoken so far. Triggered much? Triggered Zealot much? Yes, absolutely. You've got a dingleberry dangling below a plane that we're measuring. By pure fiat, you've decided to assume that there's a dangling globe below a tangent plane. But the thing that we're actually measuring is surface level. Now you're saying, well, yeah, that's the tangent plane. No, it's the surface that we're measuring. But you've now installed this idea that there's a dangling globe below a surface level that we're measuring. We're still just measuring the surface level. You having a single point that's attached to a globe dangling below doesn't make it so. If you say it does, then would it be possible for you to show me a tangent plane, please, in reality?
Sure. Absolutely. So first off, the tangent line is what the theodolite or other tool establishes. The tangent plane is the mathematical expansion of that. You got to.
I'm hearing nothing about rubbish.
You have to wait.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
You got to let him finish, Brian. Brian, you got to let him finish, Brian. Sorry, you got to let him finish.
Why are you telling me about that?
Because the only reason we're going to get respect from them and win the day is by allowing the moderators to do them. We just chewed them out about the other side. So I'm telling you, please let Nathan do his thing.
Omnivore respond.
So what this means, now what we're talking about here is the definition of level. So when you say show me a tangent plane or show me a tangent line, those things are established by the theodolite. It's not like it's a physical line that I can, it's not like I can show you a roll of grid line or, anything like that. These are established by the theodolite. They are conceptual, but they mathematically work. And I'm not imagining a plane below it. What I'm doing is I'm telling you that the definition that you claimed made no sense is based on this model. Now, you may not believe that definition, but I want you to, acknowledge that that's what the document that I posted is saying. All right. So we can argue whether it's right or wrong, but it's not me imagining this globe below it. That's what the definition I'm using. And Shubil is a licensed surveyor. He's just posted a picture. You can look at that too. That's what this means. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, Brian.
First of all, definitions and citations mean nothing without support. That's number one. Number two, when surveyors, it doesn't matter what's in the books, when surveyors refer to level, they're treating level as horizontal. Number three, neither horizontal or vertical, neither horizontal or vertical exist on a globe. They can't. You can have a tangent to one point on that surface, and you can have a 90-degree line to that, but that's not vertical and horizontal. You don't have any reference for horizontal or vertical. There is no reference for them. So when you say perpendicular, no, perpendicular is horizontal and vertical. You can have a 90-degree to a tangent, but that's not perpendicular. There has never been once ever in history a surveyor who measured the length of a tangent plane. That never happened.
So
real quick, he said that the definitions don't matter. He said that level's defined as flat. So
I know.
Which one is it?
Right.
That's not what he said.
No, that's not what he said.
That's definitely not what he said. So moderators, I would beg you to get him to clarify what Brian actually said, because I heard what Brian said, and what Brian said, definitions mean nothing
without support. Not they mean nothing.
So, okay, and so when Nathan says level is defined as flat, what support did he bring?
That's how level is defined. It's a synonym.
That's literally the definition.
Oh, so the definition means something to you, but not to anybody else?
Yeah, but that can be supported.
We brought the globe.
Oh my God! What the fuck, dude?
You stop swearing.
That's definitely supported. Level being flat and everything you put on a flat surface to be leveled is definitely supported. What are you talking about?
It is. It's not when you're talking about surveying or.
It is. You can't support level.
I'll explain. I'll give an honest explanation. Like this is an honest conversation. So there's this thing called a margin of error, right? So if I have
not in surveying,
if I have what I think is a flat, straight horizontal line, it is within a margin of error. Now, when you're expanding that over something that's the size of the globe, it turns out that level actually curves. Water locally looks flat,
because you're talking about.
But when you expand it over a globe, it curves. Now, that's how this definition works. I'm using this definition.
No, it doesn't. You're talking rubbish.
Okay, everyone stop. Everyone stop. Everyone stop.
Evidence for it. You're claiming that there's no evidence, but you haven't heard me out. There's a ton of evidence.
We heard you.
You haven't
We've heard.
For it.
John,
I haven't shown you evidence yet. I'm trying to get the
we heard.
interlocutors to agree that this is what the document says. It doesn't quote make no sense.
We got you.
So
did you want to keep saying the same thing 6 more times?
Yes, until you don't like.
Till someone shuts you up. When do we get to respond, moderators? Does he ever get shut up?
Yeah. All right, Omnivore. We heard what you had to say. Go ahead, Nate.
Go ahead, Refracted. Seriously?
Yes.
Hold on, Omni.
Okay.
John, Refracted.
I just love how level means level. In reality,
guys, hold on a second, Chocolate. Right, guys in G+, if you can't join in the conversation, don't interrupt the conversation. Because I'm calling on you to address things that you're dropping in. I can't keep track of all your interruptions and then follow on each of your points if you can't pipe up. Okay?
Did Refracted come in? I didn't hear him at all.
Yeah, he did.
Is Brian saying that you can't establish a horizontal on the side of a hill?
You need a horizontal to describe curve from, and you don't have one on a globe.
But the hill is curved.
Yeah, so you'll need a horizontal plane of reference to describe it from. And if you bend the horizontal plane of reference, you have nothing to describe it from. It's an axiomatic principle that you'll be utilising to describe curve with. Now, meanwhile, the surface level is the axiomatic principle that's being utilised in Earth curve mathematics. And that axiomatic principle is then being described as being bent. That's where we're at.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Nathan, don't listen to him. He just came in and immediately misrepresented me on purpose, just as a red herring. He's trying to just take the conversation away onto him. Don't talk to him. Don't speak to him.
Can't establish.
Nathan, he's a lowlife and a liar.
Let me know when I can address you.
I haven't addressed you yet. See, this is what you're talking about is level being a three-dimensional thing, because a curve requires 3 points. So it's either the surface of the sphere you're talking about is either flat, right, or level is three-dimensional. Mm-hmm. That's the implication of what you're talking about, which is why no surveyor has ever proven the existence of a tangent plane or measured a tangent plane. Sorry, a tangent plane.
That's not true. We have Shoebill in the chat, and I think in the VC, he is a licensed surveyor, and he has done these measurements, bearing out that it is a globe. Now, this is the practice of surveying by an actual licensed surveyor, and it is technical. It's not something that you're just going to be able to do in 10 minutes outside your house, with no tools, because it's the actual level, the actual practice, right? This is how actual surveyors do it. But the definition that I am referring to from a surveying manual is a valid one, and that's not. I didn't just cherry pick one surveying manual. This is how they all work.
Oh my God!
That's anyone who's claiming to be a surveyor and measuring using tangent planes and claiming that level is a curved surface is not a surveyor.
Let's speak to him. Is he here? He said he's in VC.
Bring him on.
So your assertion is that he must be
not my assertion. I know people who are retired geodetic surveyors.
So hey, I wasn't quite finished.
Shubil's here, right? It's not
we've
anymore.
been server muted.
Speak for himself, then.
I don't.
No, we've been removed from the call. It seems so. We'll see how if that gets resolved, because obviously somebody's decided that we're not going to be part of this call. It would seem. What a shame.
I mean, not one of them has mentioned anything to do with curvature in the last 60 minutes. They've all mentioned horizontal, level, perpendicular, plumb, the other light, tangent line. When are they going to start talking about how curvature is measured?
Yes.
It's a straw man argument.
Who are we talking to now?
What's a straw man argument?
Who said that?
You're talking about Shubil and you don't even know.
Shubil's just opened his mic. Let's see what he has to say.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Go, Bill.
Every industrial country for the past 250 years has geodesy figured out.
That. We don't need all that.
Yeah,
we need
do.
you proving that you measure the length of the tangent plane. That's what we need. And proving that level is three-dimensional. They're the two things you have to prove.
Well, level is the equipotential surface of a body of water, which is a constant elevation, and that is the 60-mile radius of Earth.
No, that's you begging the question.
That's a flat plane.
That's not what a surveyor would say. That's not you proving that you're measuring the length of a tangent plane and that level is three-dimensional. If you're claiming that sea level is three-dimensional, then that's not level.
Yes.
Level is no point higher or lower than another. Level is always
sea
2
level
points.
is a portion of sphere. Yes.
No, it's not. You have to prove that level is a curved line.
Read the definition.
How do you do?
Shall I read it again?
When was the last time that you used trigonometry in your job? If you're claiming to be a surveyor.
I don't know, maybe yesterday, and for like the past 10 years prior to that.
Great. So how are you using trigonometry? You seem to be triggered. As soon as I brought that up, you seem to be very
years
triggered.
prior to that, professionally.
Please stop swearing.
You seem to be very triggered
retired.
the minute I brought that up. Because how can level be three-dimensional and a curved, right? How can level be curved and you use trigonometry? How do surveyors measure between three separate mountains using trigonometry and level be curved? And they get the correct answers.
Level is a constant elevation.
Then we don't need claims based on nothing. We need evidence.
Wait, he said level is a constant elevation. Is that what curve is?
Yeah. Welcome to Flat Earth.
It is a constant elevation.
Curve is a constant elevation. You sure about that?
Yeah. A level
Can we go ahead and get the definition for
defined as a
curvature?
curved surface at which each point is perpendicular to the direction of gravity at that point. A plumb line gives the direction of gravity at any place.
Direction of
the surface
gravity.
of still water is a truly
that seems like another
a horizontal
basis
line or a horizontal plane at any point is tangent to a level surface.
You would have to. That's the Hebrew. You would have to prove the existence of gravity before you could even go into anything like
that. Before we do all that, can you reread uninterrupted your definition and post it, and then we'll get the Navy definition of what curvature is and see how they marry up.
I don't know if you can read it
Nathan,
uninterrupted. You guys are wild. You guys are wildly interrupting. I've had to mute you mad times. Why don't you guys all come in on your own accounts? That way we can control this better. You all got Discord accounts. I know you do.
Who's that?
Yeah, that's what I was doing on my side, helping talk to my guys. But again, now that everything is all quiet, thank you, Jeremy. We appreciate that. Can I say what I was saying now?
People that have been interrupting is actually in RVC, Jeremy.
All right.
So may I say what I was saying again, uninterrupted by Jeremy?
I'll read it again.
So okay, go ahead.
I posted the picture. A level surface is accurately defined as a curved surface at which each point is perpendicular to the direction of gravity at that point. A plumb line gives the direction of gravity at any place. The surface of still water is a truly level surface. A horizontal line or a horizontal plane at any point is tangent to a level surface at that point.
So that's just begging the question.
That definition is completely contradictory.
Yes.
The word perpendicular is in it. The word perpendicular is... Just one second. The word perpendicular is in it. You can't... Yeah, the word perpendicular is within that definition. Perpendicular is only horizontal and vertical. Now, you don't have them on a globe. You can have, mathematically, you can have a tangent and a 90-degree line to that tangent. You could call it a zenith or whatever, but that is not vertical and horizontal. So your definition can be thrown out because it contradicts itself.
That's not true. It is, as it says.
It is true. That's just the facts.
Direction of gravity.
That's just facts. That's what perpendicular is.
So the horizontal line or horizontal plane is perpendicular to vertical, which comes from the plumb line.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Flat Earth.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Where you got the horizontal plane from? On a globe.
Yo, is this the Flat Earth's attempt at accurately displaying the globe model? It's by trying to twist it with words. You'll never win doing this. Here's a tip. Try to learn the globe model.
This is the globe attempt trying to twist
in my
a flat Earth into a globe. Sorry,
just Brian, please.
Before we get... Do we have that definition of curvature?
Eli, please, for the love of... Just yield to Brian.
This is the globe's version of trying to twist a flat plane into a globe. That's what this is. That was projection. Now, I'll ask the question again. So, anyone who's claiming that level is a curved line, then please tell me how surveyors measure a chain of triangles between mountains, across a mountain range, and a range that could span like 80 miles, more, 100 miles. How did they do that accurately if level is a curved line? How can all those triangles, right, using trigonometry, 180 degrees, straight lines, how can they do that if level is a curved line?
Is that okay? So that's a question, I think. Yeah. So the way that they do that, so first off, as you know, when they do that, they measure spherical excess. That is because we are on a globe. Now, I realize that you want to go down into a rabbit hole of talking about
Brian,
things like spherical excess and, spherical triangles. However, we don't need to do that. All we have to do is say, this is how, this is the definition.
Brian, you've got to stop.
This is the definition that surveyors are using. It's the one that I'm using. And it, you can have a different definition for your flat Earth, and we can talk about the evidence for this one. I have some evidence for it I'd like to discuss.
No, we won't be moving on to a different topic, right? You came up with something that was wrong there. I told you it was wrong, and instead of stopping and saying, what are you talking about? You kept going through because you know what you just said is wrong, right? What you're trying to do is get out in front of the argument and then change the topic. Not change the topic, but red herring away from this point, right? Your definition means nothing because not only do those definitions contradict themselves, but they are based on nothing. Right? Definitions and citations mean absolutely nothing if they can't be supported. And those definitions or citations can't be supported. Now, what you said when I asked, how can level be a curved line if surveyors, geodetic surveyors, can use trigonometry, right, as a chain of triangles to measure distances between a whole range of mountains, could be 80, 100, over 100 miles, right, in length, right, the whole range. I asked, how did they do that? How did they do that if level is a curved line? And you said, well, first of all, they must add in spherical excess. No, that's incorrect, right? It's after they've done all the trigonometry and actually measured things in reality correctly, then when they try to place that chain of triangles onto the convex surface, mathematically place it onto the convex surface of a mathematical globe Earth of radius 3959 miles, what happens then is all those lines are bowed out the way. So what happens is that you end up with an excess of area inside those lines that doesn't exist in reality. Right? That's what spherical excess is. When they want to use those measurements, they must remove the curved part and go back to the actual measurements, which is real trigonometry with 180 degrees and straight lines, if they want to use it for mapping or anything else. So what you just spoke about, when I said you were wrong, you should have stopped because you were. Spherical excess comes afterwards. It's a mathematical afterthought. And it's a consequence of trying to put real world measurements over a flat plane onto a spherical surface. Finished.
All right. Are you done?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So, no, that is a common misconception of how spherical excess works. Okay? And trying to say, how do they do this? And, they get spherical excess and then, basically being wrong about it. I question, and this is a serious question, it's not meant to be an insult. Can you do the math that you're talking about, that you're trying to, describe? Are you capable of doing that math?
And then place those triangles onto the convex surface of a sphere. Let me ask you a question.
So,
how did they do trigonometry with spherical excess?
They do trigonometry and they discover spherical excess.
You're finished.
So
You're finished. I just finished you. You just finished you.
No. So
you're finished. You're finished.
Are you?
Because you can't do trigonometry, right?
Yes.
Trigonometry 180 degrees. You can't do that, right? And have spherical excess simultaneously.
So Shubil just posted the one of the pictures. I think this is from the continental triangulation that shows spherical excess. So yes, they do find spherical excess. Now,
mathematically afterwards.
I realize.
Mathematically afterwards. Hold on. I've already said this, that it's something that comes along mathematically afterwards.
I let you. Come on. You gotta just a second. Okay. So, what do you want to go into the deep dive of spherical excess? Or would we rather me talk about what I think is easier to discuss?
No,
convincing
I don't need to go into the deep dive of spherical excess because I know what it is.
Just a minute. Let me. So you're wrong about how spherical excess.
No, I'm not. Where did I get my information? Where did I verify my information? Where did I verify?
What you're saying about spherical excess is not correct. All right, and I doubt that you can do the math you're talking about. You believe that it is a spherical mathematics that are applied.
You're proving my point. You're proving my point.
Stop.
So,
okay, no worries.
What you're saying
stop a second.
is
Thank you.
Conceptually wrong about
Thank
it.
you.
We don't
Thank
have
you.
to
Just stop. That means stop.
I've
got Brian to stop.
Math.
Oh my God! Is it just? It's only him rambling indefinitely.
Oh no! It's you too, Nathan. But we can talk about something that's much more easy to understand.
Can
you please give me 10 seconds, please, Omnivore? All you're doing is saying...
No, your mic's terrible. I was just letting... Hold on. Oakley, I was letting him go because
my mic again.
Brian went on a big long thing. I figured we let Ami have his full response, but no, you don't want to do that?
No, Omnivore just keeps saying that Brian's wrong without saying how or why he's wrong. Whereas Brian tells Omnivore,
water is level.
Rob, your mic's terrible.
Rob was trying to get through what I was trying to say, which is exactly that. Omnivore's hand wave. I was actually going to parallel by just saying Omnivore's just wrong. I doubt he understands the maths of a requirement of a flat surface level to describe curve deviating from it. He just doesn't understand maths. I'll just take the same tone. He's just wrong. Yeah, I can do it too.
Sorry. He's proving himself wrong. Because not only is he asking me, can I do those maths, proving that what he's talking about is purely mathematical. It's not measurement, right? It's not measurement. I know measurement is maths, but it's not measurement. It's only mathematical, right? But he doesn't understand that you can't do trigonometry and have level as a curved line, right? He's talking about spherical excess prior to trigonometry. And during trigonometry, you can't have that because none of the triangles will be triangles, and whatever internal angles those curved lines will have, right, if you place them onto the convex surface of a globe, they will always be greater than 180 degrees. They won't be 180 degrees, so you can't do trigonometry. Now, we know in reality surveyors do this. Geodetic surveyors do this. They measure whole mountain ranges, right, and other things, right, with trigonometry all the time, or at least they used it before they got all the digital. But this is part of the job. So how do you do all that with spherical excess and level as a curved line? You can't, when he's contradicting himself by his own claims.
All right. So it's not a contradiction, and I'm gonna bring up. You mentioned measuring mountain ranges. That's what I wanted to talk.
But you do contradict yourself.
Stop. So you absolutely. So first off, this absolutely works. Okay, and the way that we know that it works, that it's not a contradiction, is, and this is, I think one of the gold standards, the measurement of the height of Mount Everest. As you may know, the team that did it could not get within 100 miles of the mountain itself because of political stuff. So what they did was they took thousands and thousands of measurements from 100 miles or more away, and they accurately published the height. They published the height of Mount Everest before anyone had ever climbed to the top. However, many, many years later, they had climbed to the top, and they got the altitude, the elevation of Mount Everest right within like 12 feet. So it's an incredibly accurate measurement.
Yeah, that's not to do with the globe. That's all flat Earth.
So no.
All of that is flat Earth. Everything you just said is flat Earth. For them to do this, one second. Nathan, let me address you there. Let me address this.
You can in a second. You can in a second.
What do you mean?
But no, because you're going to waffle on and on and on.
I'm gonna let you address it in a second, but I want to explain what you're addressing.
Stop about it, Jeremy.
So what?
Jeremy,
what you have
to let him ramble?
Yeah. So what you have to address is that when they did the elevation of Mount Everest, they used corrections for the globe. So you either have to. Yeah, I'm almost done.
All I want to do is ask you a few questions about your claims.
I'm almost done. Let me explain why I think this.
You were about to respond to you.
Let me. Elbow. Hold on. You're triggered, Elbow. Just give me a second.
You've made a claim, actually, Omni.
Well, this is they published a height. Okay, that's a published document before anyone had ever gone.
Okay, we got that.
To the top.
And there's something
we heard all this.
Brian, I've got to try and take charge. Brian, stop. Brian, stop. Omni, please. Omni, please, can you just stop?
Nathan, 2 seconds. I'm almost done. So when they published the height, they used this definition of level that I'm talking about, correcting for Earth curve. That is 100% part of the process. It's documented in their work.
First of all,
they did this, and it worked.
Yeah,
right,
we got that. Brian, please let me get in between you, otherwise I can't take charge. Yeah, thank you, Omni. I think there's a question in regards to the measurement for elevation that Brian wants to put to you.
I have a couple of questions, and I don't want you to lead them for me, Nathan, if you don't mind. Right? Thank you. You said when they went to the top, right, they took measurements again at the top. Is this what you said? Before we go back to the measurements they took from 100 miles away.
Well, yeah, when people reach the top of Mount Everest,
what did they measure to?
Guy,
what did they measure to?
Hold on, Brian. Yeah, he's leading you, Omni. That's not... Hey, Omni, please can you waffle on for another 2 or 3 minutes when he's just asking for a yes?
Damn, boy. I tell you what.
I'm asking Omni, what did they measure to? From the top of the mountain, they would have to take a depression angle. So what was the depression angle to?
I don't know. They didn't take a depression angle. As far as I understand
what did they measure then?
They're measuring the elevation.
But how can you measure the elevation from the top of something?
You can use an altimeter.
Right. So, but that's begging the question. That's not a measurement that proves the globe. That would be begging the question. Right, that makes no difference on a flat Earth or a globe. If you want to move within the globe paradigm, you could claim, well, at this height there would be, there would be a curved atmosphere, right? Blah blah blah. No, that makes no difference. I can say the exact same thing on a flat plane, and it's a nothing burger.
So
unless we want to get it at that point, the only place to go with that argument at that point is into gas pressure. I'm trying to. You don't know what they did at the top of the mountain. Because when I asked you, you said you don't know. Then you said they just got measurements of elevation. I said, how did they do that? You said they used an altimeter. So that's a nothing burger.
They can use an altimeter.
From 100 miles away, just 1 second. So from 100 miles away, what measurements did they take to the top of the mountain?
They took elevation angles.
Right, so that's flat plane measurements then. So right. And they would have been using the angular size of the mountain, yes?
They are surveyors. And they are using
angular sizes, so they would have been measuring angular sizes.
Okay, both of you stop. Yes. Both of you stop. Where we got to is they're measuring elevation angles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, well, they're measuring a flat Earth then.
Yeah, there's no way to get using elevation angles from 100 miles away. There's no way for them to get an accurate elevation to Mount Everest using angular sizes and call it a globe. Two problems. Number one, that 100-mile baseline of all those measurements, right? The 100-mile baseline has to be parallel with mean sea level as a horizontal, right? No, to get the height, because the height is a vertical height above a horizontal plane, number one. Number two, angular size does not exist within globe mathematics. It is not part of the globe.
Okay. So that's not you're not correct. So first off,
I am 100% correct.
Brian,
I can prove it.
Brian, stop.
The baselines established by their tools, okay, is a perpendicular to plumb, and they're measuring they're using that plus known sea level to tell the elevation, and this is well documented in their work. You can go look through it. And it worked.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
If you think that if you think their process used only flat Earth maps, then you have to explain why correcting for the globe gave them such an accurate result.
Okay, welcome to Flat Earth.
Number one, they're dealing with an angular size.
Hold on, Brian.
Sorry, Nathan, go ahead.
Just 1 sec. Yeah, welcome to Flat Earth. So perpendicular to sea level. Welcome to Flat Earth. Measurement of an elevation angle. Let's just define what that is from radar tutorial. Elevation angle is the angle between the horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the vertical plane. The reference direction, i.e. an elevation angle of 0 degrees, is a horizontal line in the direction of the horizon. Elevation angle, radar tutorial. Alternatively,
but they don't ever say that it's the ground.
Why am I getting talked through by this asshole? The elevation angle, otherwise known as altitude angle, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. So we're measuring a flat Earth. It's reference to sea level. Welcome to Flat Earth.
That you're cleaving close to the definitions that you think work for you, and you're rejecting the definitions that you think do not work for you.
Got 20.
But however, what you're wrong about is that both of those definitions are perfectly in keeping with each other.
We know
that
they're not in keeping with you, though.
The height, they are. They 100% are. You still
globe doesn't have a horizontal plane.
Projection.
Sorry, can I just address that, please, Omnivore? No, the globe doesn't have a horizontal plane for the observer to be standing on.
Sure it does.
No, one of the defining features of a globe is it has no horizontal surfaces or planes at all, ever, under any circumstances. So I'll just reiterate my point that wins. The globe has no horizontal plane for the observer to be standing on to measure. Now, we do have that in reality. It's sea level, surface level, with eye level parallel with it, like all planes that are parallel with the horizon, that as defined by radar tutorial, will be elevation angle measurement worthy when dealing with the horizon and Earth's surface as a plane, which it is when we measure Earth. Now, further to that, you can also beg the question that the plane of Earth's surface that we will be measuring has a dangling Earth beneath it at a tangent point, so that you can call the plane surface of Earth that we measure a tangent plane with a presupposed dangling Earth beneath it. It isn't, it's just Earth's surface, and it is flat. I thank you. Earth is flat.
I'm not presupposing it. I'm telling you that the surveyors used this definition that you're mocking, and when they corrected for Earth curve, which they did, they 100% did, it became super accurate. So you're in one of two situations.
How would you know if it's accurate? How do you know it's accurate if you haven't got the height check?
One, because we keep
It's a complete contradiction
right now. We can fly over it with airplanes and see how high it is. All the kinds of stuff they couldn't do back in 1850.
Airplanes, that's flat Earth again.
Yeah, it's flat Earth again.
What they're talking about is completely contradictory.
Hold on, Omni and Brian, both of you, please stop. Both you, please stop. Both of you, please stop. That includes Omni. Both of you means Omni also. Please stop.
You're left in one of two.
Please stop.
Back into the corner.
Please stop.
And the corner is.
Guy, he's just spewing. Hello, moderation team. He's just spewing.
I'm explaining.
No, you're not. You've made a claim.
This works.
Guy, Omni, he's not being reasonable, and my own team aren't helping. Everybody stop. Everybody stop.
So I just want to point out.
So you're just going to keep going, spewing. Verbal diarrhea.
You
stop.
either have to conclude.
Stop.
You either
stop.
have to conclude.
No, I'm going to take charge. Omni's just being unreasonable. He's just not yielding ever. What an unreasonable man. Obviously losing for my audience. This is what losing looks like when you won't yield under any circumstances. You'll throw out your baseless claims and never yield. We heard you, Omni. You spewed about flights, didn't you? Then Brian stepped in, and then you had verbal diarrhea and you lost. Brian pointed out that flights were also with respect to a plane, and you carried on with verbal diarrhea in defeat. I mean, it's your only tactic to use a mute button when you're losing, and someone addresses a flat Earth prerequisite like flights. Like now, Omni's off his mute button. He's just going to chant through this fact that Brian attempted to, but he just carried on with his verbal diarrhea, didn't he? Yeah. No, you referenced something. You spewed it out there, Omni, about flights. Yeah, you're going to need a flat Earth for those two.
So, are you done?
I'm not done.
Yo, try to be concise.
You have to make
Omni, hold on. Omni, please try to be a little bit concise. Let's all try to be concise. What do we say, guys?
I'll be concise. So, you're caught in one of two corners. You're cornered with this this evidence. One, you have to conclude that correcting for Earth curve, although you believe it's incorrect, somehow got the measurement incredibly accurate, so they just got really super lucky, or you have to conclude, which is I think where Brian is going, that we just really don't know the height of Mount Everest, and we're kind of lying about what its elevation is. Both of those.
That was completely non-responsive. Thank you, Omni.
I didn't say any of those things.
Thank you very much, Omni. That was completely non-responsive. Brian was asserting that you addressed flights in part of your rebuttal, and Brian piped up to point out that flights require a flat Earth. I then very concisely put it to you, and you reverted to the argument about measuring the height of Everest when we specifically detailed the flight you brought up when you started spewing with your verbal diarrhea. I'm reiterating what's transpired since. But the flights will require a flat Earth. Your response last time I put this to you on behalf of Brian, who will undoubtedly want the reins back at some point, was completely non-responsive. So you will acquire flight data and it will be proving a flat Earth. That's what Brian wants to pick the reins up based on your spewing that.
Right. I get that you want to change.
And that's not where I'm looking, actually. I want to call him back on his contradictions concerning his measurements.
Can I respond to that?
Respond to what? You do nothing but talking. You're not allowing anyone else to respond. But I tried to ask you questions about your claims. You didn't want to answer it. You wanted to keep talking instead of answering your questions about your claims.
I'm going to respond.
You're not allowing talking to happen.
Just a second. Okay. So first off, the flight is irrelevant. Okay, we can go to flights if you want to change the topic.
It was relevant when you were using it for your claims.
Brought him up.
Just a minute.
You brought him up.
So there are many ways to measure the elevation of something. First off, now that we can get closer,
we didn't ask you how many ways there was to measure an elevation. Nobody asked you
I'm
any of those
explaining
things.
why.
Yo, guys, hold on. Do you want Omni to respond to Oakley, or is this to just like
Sorry,
what are we doing?
What's he responding
Hold on
to?
a second, Brian. Sorry, who's that? Just so I can just have this conversation. Go ahead. Who is that? Who's that? That was just
It's Jeremy. Do you want Omni to respond to you, or do
Just
you
need
want
to
to
know who you are.
talk back and
Who's
forth
that?
with
Jeremy.
yourselves, or what's up?
Jeremy. Perfect. Thank God. Jeremy, the problem that's occurring is that he's not actually responding to what we're putting to him. That's why it's audio chaos, but that's his intention. So every time he offers up a complete non sequitur, non-responsive answer, he's getting people like myself and Brian getting irritated and then talking over him in an objection because he's non-responsive to what's being put to him. Now you're asking, do we want him to just continually waffle on into la la land, not responding to us? Not really, but maybe in the interest of balance. Good.
All right, can I respond to that, Jeremy?
They don't want you to respond to what? He's doing nothing but talking. Or like...
Okay.
Jeremy, we're hearing nothing but him talk. No one is getting to respond to him. No, when he makes a claim, me or someone else tries to ask him a question and he doesn't want to answer the question about his claim. He wants to keep going with whatever he's talking about. And even when Nathan asks him, hang on, just hold for a minute. I have to hold. I don't want to, but I have to. He won't. He just keeps talking through.
All right. So first off,
so do you guys hold on, Omni? That's not your cue. Do you guys want to engage with someone else then, or something?
No,
or like,
I want to hold him to task on his claims. That's what I want to hold him to task on, starting with his measurements.
Okay. Then you guys go ahead and propose a question, and Omni, please directly answer the question.
Well, just a minute. Before we do that,
Omni, no,
that means you won't play ball.
Well,
you see, it's for the moderation team in Earth Awakenings. This means he won't play ball. He's only got his tactics from here forward.
No, go ahead. I'll entertain a topic change.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah. 1 second. Just give me a second. I'm after stepping inside. 1 second. Omni, you said, right, that they made measurements from the top of Mount Everest. That's what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I asked you what those measurements were and you didn't know, right? Then you said...
No, I didn't. No, I didn't say that. You asked what the declination angle was.
I asked you what measurements. What did they measure?
Altimeter. They measured elevation. Using altimeters, using a bunch of different methods.
Right. So they measured the height of Mount Everest with an altimeter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Right. When they were at the top of Mount Everest.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then you said after that when they matched those measurements and converted it to globe, it was accurate. How come it wasn't accurate when you used the altimeter or when the flat Earth measurements using angular size? How come they weren't accurate, but it was accurate when they turned it into a globe?
So I can answer that. So first off, the altimeter is accurate within like a few feet or
so you won't need a globe then.
Inches. So
you won't need a globe.
Right. What I'm trying to explain to you is what I'm trying to explain to you is this: the measurement of Mount Everest done first was from 100 miles away using the globe.
Yeah.
They took measurements.
You weren't using the
Hold on, Brian.
Hold
on, just 1 second. Hold on.
Let me finish.
Sorry, just 1 sec, Omni. Right. I can't help but interject.
Out you go.
Hold on a second, please.
I know you can't.
Just 1 sec.
Out you go. Come on, so you have to go out.
Look into his
Come on.
Bloody hell. No, you're talking about 100-mile distance. That's linear, and that would require a flat plane. You don't have 100 miles round curves. It's a linear distance. So when you say it's 100 miles away, it's 100 miles away in a linear delineation of miles. That's flat, not curved.
Okay, so that's an assertion without evidence. I understand that
miles are linear. Why am I being hand-waved?
So distance.
Yeah, we are done with him. Yeah, we are. I think we are done with him.
Well, let me.
It's not a baseless assertion. Miles are linear. It's a statement of fact.
Let me finish my piece then.
Guy.
Can I?
What? Can you hand wave me and tell me that's a baseless assertion when it's a fact?
Yes, it's a baseless assertion.
So miles aren't linear.
You can have
stuttering.
You can have distances over a globe, right? If I have
no,
100
they
miles
can't. They're
over the
linear.
globe,
Miles are linear.
Linear does. So you're misunderstanding what linear means. To this
So you see how you are stuttering while I point out that linear distances aren't curved, and you're saying this distance is on a globe. No, you're wrong.
I'm telling you that the methodology they used worked, and that they corrected for the globe. This is highly.
No, distances were given in miles. Are you going to stop? Is it just you yammer on after being wrong indefinitely, and the moderation team does nothing, so no responses? Just an endless diarrhea of nonsense that's wrong, with no moderation stepping in when I respond. I'm responding to him. He's made his incorrect basis assertion that this distance, 100 miles, works on a globe. Incorrect. Then he started stuttering about how wrong I was about my misinterpretation of linear distance. I'm afraid not. No, it will be flat. Earth is flat. 100 miles won't be curving. You will have a flat plane for this distance that is linear. You are wrong. Earth is flat. You just don't understand linear distances, sir. You just don't understand maths. I'll do what you did to Brian earlier. It's obviously too much for you to comprehend what linear means when describing distances. It absolutely unequivocally will not be curved, like you asserted when you said this distance was on a curve. Wrong. Just ignorant of linear distances, in this case miles. So, Smiley, you're just wrong. It won't be 100 miles on a globe. Hope that's absolutely and abundantly clear. Now I've corrected how wrong you were.
Okay, so once again, you think that I'm using a definition that doesn't work. That's definitionally wrong. But we have, so the question is, how do we tell who's right? And the answer is, we see if the measurement of Mount Everest was accurate, because we know that they were.
It was, and we used flat plane measurements.
One second. Hey, hold on a second.
Right. So absolutely, it was right, and it was a flatter measurement to get it. Nathan is correct. Miles are linear. You're wrong.
So no, they're using.
How much curvature is there in an inch?
Just let them get it out. Just let them get it out, because if they don't let us get it out, it's going to be a problem.
Are you afraid to let me finish? Okay, good. So what they did was they used globe measurements. They corrected for the globe from a long distance away. You can claim it's a linear distance, and you can claim it must be flat, but the way we test that claim is we see if their methodology was flawed or not. And when we look at what they published before anyone had ever been to the top of Mount Everest, we see that they were incredibly accurate. So the question then is, how, if the globe is not real, and those definitions make no sense the way you're claiming they do, how did they get, using all of these incorrect paradoxical definitions and techniques, how did they get it so accurate?
It's not our problem.
Or you can take the other
distance
method
you gave, if you'll ever actually allow a response to come your way without actually putting yourself on mute while you're hearing things rather than carrying on talking. The distance you gave was linear, not curved. So your problem, is it just me, or did we just hear his waffle? We're hearing someone else talk through me. I got 3 words out. Yeah, so the distance is still flat and linear and won't be curving. And these are your problems for your globe when you describe your paradox with your flat measurements that you can't use on a globe, like you incorrectly asserted. Now, you haven't acknowledged how wrong you were when I corrected you. You've gone on to tell me about the paradoxical problems your globe has. They're your problems, not ours. Meanwhile, the linear distance will be flat. Earth is flat. Miles will require it to be flat, and they will not be curving in any circumstance ever. So Earth is flat.
Nathan, I posted something in Master B a little bit earlier. Could you just put it up on screen and I'll read it out, please?
I do like to respond to that. So once again, you're not going to discuss how they got such an accurate measurement. You don't know how they did it, or what. You believe that they're wrong about everything.
No, you use miles.
How did they get such an accurate measurement?
Don't care. Miles are linear. They're not curving. Earth's flat. Don't care.
So how did they get it? So
don't care. I'm not claiming them. They're not mine. Second time's a charm. You're just ignoring me.
Just a second, Nate. No, I'm responding to you. So if we disagree on what the definitions of these things are and how they work, how do we know who's right? What test
because
do we do?
Because the definitions that we present,
just a minute, Nathan,
we can support,
we could look
and
in
it
a
can be
dictionary.
supported in reality.
We could look
Your
at a dictionary.
He's asking and telling us at the same time, Brian. He's asking me how we define things and then telling us through the answer how we'll be defining them by looking at things in dictionaries. So his verbal diatribe continues indefinitely through the top of the answer.
Hold on, man.
I'm not asking how you define things.
No, you're telling. You asked me something and then you carried on talking. You're an unreasonable person to discuss things with when you lose because Earth's flat. Your linear distances don't need defining. They are what they are. And there he is talking through the top of his devastating defeat when we prove Earth's flat with his own words that he can't stop diarrhea of the mouth through the top of. Yeah, you've still proven Earth's flat with your definitions that are your problem when they don't match your globe.
All right. So if I can finish...
No, let me just end this whole thing.
If you think
I posted something, just 1 second.
It's up on screen, Brian, from my audience. This guy just decided he's got verbal diarrhea, Brian. No one else is allowed to talk because he's losing.
Yeah, let's mute your G+ server, Nathan. Omnivore was right in the middle, and then Brian or Chocolate, whoever the hell that is, can respond after.
Right. So if you think all my definitions are wrong and paradoxical, and whatever words you want to use, you're faced with a relentless problem of why do they work so well? It turns out that these definitions, these techniques that I'm talking about are incredibly accurate. And I'm pointing to something that a case where the number was published before anyone had gotten close enough to get to the top, to take a much closer measurement, et cetera, et cetera. And, what you can't address is why, if we disagree on definitions, this is like the test of which one of us is right.
Yeah, nothing's been defined. That was complete word salad. Meanwhile, the distance he did give was miles and it's linear. Earth's flat.
Yeah, Nathan, I posted something in Master B earlier. If you wouldn't mind putting it up on screen and I'll read it out. Because it directly connects to this man's claims of
Fine. Yes,
of
we'll put it up on screen. Please. Hopefully you won't get rumpus to all hell. Go ahead, it's up on screen.
Yeah, you can hear me, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. 1 second. Okay. This is called perspective or curve, right? Because this man has claimed that they use elevation angles, surveyors, right, from 100 miles away, right? Now, that means 100 miles, that means an adjacent length of 100 miles to get elevations, which would be verticals. So that's horizontals and verticals. Now, he needs, for that to even ever have any mathematical connection to a globe, right? He needs the globe. For it to be anything to do with a globe, angular size, right, change must be accounted for within globe mathematics. So this is called perspective or curve. On a globe Earth of radius 3,959 miles, a boat at 6 feet above the water will disappear from view at 3 miles away for an observer with their eye line at the water, due to it sailing over the curve of a globe Earth. Whereas, on a flat Earth, a boat that's 6 foot above the water will disappear from view at 3 miles away for an observer with their eye line at the water, due to the boat's angular size reaching 0.02 degrees, which is the angular resolution limit of the average human eye. So, if our curve and perspective existed simultaneously, which is what this man is claiming, then at 1.8 miles away, the bottom 2.16 feet of the boat would be blocked by our curve, while the remaining 3.84 feet of the boat would have an angular size of 0.023 degrees, making the boat unresolvable for the observer. But we know that under the given conditions, that a boat that's 6 foot high off the water will require 3 miles of distance to disappear from view. We also know that perspective does exist, which means that due to a process of elimination, our curve cannot. As if both perspective and our curve existed, then the boat would disappear from view at 1.8 miles away. But it doesn't disappear from view at 1.8 miles away. It disappears from view, in reality, at 3 miles away, debunking the claimed existence of a globe Earth, the end. There is the problem. Perspective and our curve can't exist simultaneously. Only one of them can exist. We know angular size change exists, so our curve and a globe does not. End of argument.
Both of them exist. They're taken into account in these measurements.
I just proved how they can't coexist simultaneously.
No, you did not. You did not prove that. Not at all. Not remotely. So
you're referring to.
The garbage he read.
Not
That's
garbage.
It's not
the use of your mathematics through Metabunk and the use of angular size change over distance. Which is perspective.
I understand. I understand that you're appealing to something that somebody wrote. However, you know, we know that perspective exists, and the surveyors certainly know that perspective exists. The perspective is what determines the angle, your elevation angle, to the peak of the mountain. So, when the question is, what is the real elevation of the peak? And the answer is their technique nailed it really, really well. It's a fantastic feat of surveying. So if they nailed it, they got it way right, and they corrected for the globe, then you're left with, like I said, either saying we don't know the height of Mount Everest, or
they never corrected,
or their technique somehow got super, super lucky.
No, they just measured.
You do know we don't have their math, right?
They just measured Earth flat with elevation angles. So we defined it earlier.
Where's their math for the calculation?
Oh my God. We defined it earlier with elevation angle measurement when you went through this with Brian. So it's the angle measured between the imaginary line between the observer and the sun, or in this case, the top of the mountain, and the horizontal plane that the observer is standing on, as per the cited definitions that I gave earlier. Now, when I gave them earlier, you hand-waved them by saying, oh, right, there's other definitions. Well, I've got all of them, as far as I'm aware, every one of them. Elevation angle measurement definitions. If you've got one I haven't, I'd be surprised. But I'm pretty sure I've got all of them, and they all refer to Earth having a prerequisite requirement to be a horizontal plane that the observer is standing on for it to be a measurement of an angle. It's an angle, and it's about the height of something off sea level that's being measured with an angle in a linear distance that's flat 100 miles away. Earth is measured flat. But with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. But to those of you watching live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to Earth Awakening's Discord server. Hopefully there'll be a few links going by so you can actually join Earth Awakening's Discord if you'd want to do so. But of course, a massive thank you to my G+ panel as well for making today's live show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.